Here we go.
Oh. Okay, so Payam, thank you for taking your time to do this Zoom session with me.
And thank you, Hey, for inviting me to do this.
Yeah, I think we should first introduce ourselves a little bit for the viewers. Why don't you introduce yourself first?
My name is Bayon. I'm 28 years old. I've been living in Korea for 8 months, I think. And I work as an English teacher at an academy. Yes.
Yay. Yeah. So my name is Haeyu Kim, and I'm 31 years old. And I also teach English at an academy, and I teach adults and college students TOEFL writing. And I think we should tell how we met. We met at a Moim application. It's like a meetup application where you can meet people, and you can choose whichever meetup you want to go. And we met at an English study group. Yeah. And since it's our first video, we want to answer some questions that are related to like ourselves. So the first question, Payon, could you read it for us?
Yes. If you describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be, including your strength and weakness?
Yeah. So I'm really curious about your answer.
Yeah. See, I wasn't sure if like the 3 words should include a strength and weakness, or if like I thought of them separately too.
Yeah, separately could be better because it's more. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Okay, the words that I came up with were contemplative, curious, and calm.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. And
contemplative, curious, calm. Yeah.
Yep, they all begin with C. For some reason.
Could you explain one by one? I could sense that you are contemplative. Contemplative is like contemplating, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you also like studied philosophy and psychology, and you're interested in like these human nature. So I guess you're really curious.
Yep, those are connected. But like I guess contemplative, because I think that kind of captures like I can be kind of quiet and observant sometimes. Because I prioritize just like taking in everything and then like processing it. So I think that's probably the contemplative part. The curious part, it also has to do with my interests, I guess. Because I really like to learn. It really is like, if I have to think about like what, it is, I like learning the most out of anything. And I would love to, my dream would be to go to university and study every single major. Get a degree in everything.
Wow.
Because I think that would be really fun and just like, oh, that's my dream, but it's too expensive, of course.
Oh.
And the last one's calm, which is actually a new word, because just this past year, one of my friends like brought that up, and I am I never thought of myself as a calm person. Then I was like, oh wait, I actually really am. I'm very even like tempered, and like it's really hard to get me really excited or really upset or really anything.
Yeah, actually, I thought you as a little opposite of calm, because I know you're really intelligent and curious, but I had this feeling that you're really kind of outgoing and kind of like expressive rather than calm. But at the same time, I kind of was like really drawn to you because I think we share the same energy. I'm also, my friends and people always tell me that I'm calm. Yeah, contemplative, curious, and calm. Wow. And the one about curiosity.
Yeah.
Although I don't want to go to college again, I still want to absorb all the knowledge in the world, like reading all the books in the library sometimes. So I think I can relate to that one.
Seems like time is the only factor. Like there's so many things I
Oh.
want to learn, but I have just such a little time here on this planet. I have to
Mm.
choose wisely.
Mm. Calm, contemplative, and curious. I think they are all connected.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Like, then what about your weakness?
My weakness is I'm too inward. I think I'm a little bit too self-isolating and shy.
Really?
Yeah, I constantly have to like push myself to like
Oh.
go out and do things.
Mm.
And like I have like some social anxiety too. So
Ooh.
I easily could just be like staying home all day and like and just like I don't
Mm.
really hunger for like social interaction a lot. I
Oh.
just love to watch and I can like engage in the things in a really like distant way. And that's my
Mm.
problem. Not good to be distant. It's really
Oh.
not.
Then is it okay that I constantly call you in the weekend?
Call me what?
I constantly call you in the weekends to come to the Somoim
Yes, yes.
because I don't want you to feel isolated.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love, I'm really glad that I joined the club and I'm excited to like
Oh,
use that as a great like social outlet.
yeah.
Mm.
Like I think listening to your answer, I think I'm getting to know you better because I thought you were not that type of introvert, calm, quiet person, but listening to you, I guess that was like it was more like you, like the quiet part.
Yeah, I'm surprised I tricked you. I can be passionate and expressive too, I think. But
Mhm.
like at the end of the day, I'm a hardcore introvert.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I think your strength and weakness are all like kind of, if you flip the calm side, it could be like shy.
Yeah,
It's all interconnected.
that's for sure. I tried to like, yeah, it was kind of in the same vein, I think.
Oh, same
Enough
vein.
about me.
Mhm. Yeah. Me, I think the first word that describes myself, actually, I think one of my strengths, I think willing to listen to other people's stories, like listening attentively.
Mm,
Um, I think everybody likes to talk about their own stories, but sometimes I just let other people talk and let other people vent out their feelings. And I just listen to them. And running this discussion club has also really made me do that more. So I think that is one of my strengths, and just letting people talk. And in terms of, I think I need to talk about one more strength because you told three. Let's see, strength. I think I'm also calm, but
mhm.
it's actually a misunderstanding. People by first impression, many people call me that, tell me that I'm calm, but I'm not actually calm. But it could be the first impression. So I'll just skip the calm part. Okay, the listening
Okay.
ability, yeah, would be the strength of mine. And the weakness is being spontaneous. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Many people think that I'm really plan oriented because I upload these questions every week, but I do it like at like these days I do it before I uh open up the thing that people can vote to come to my discussion club. So I always do it at the last minute, and I think that's my weakness. And I know it is sometimes really efficient because I focus like 100%, maybe even like 120% if I do it at the last minute. But
Mhm.
like I cannot really stick to these plans. It's really suffocating to me. So sometimes it's efficient, but I think it's not a uh stable kind of, how could I say, stable habit. It's not a good habit. Yeah.
I see. Some people say that like our greatest strength and our greatest weakness are usually like the same thing.
Right.
How would you think that maybe your spontaneity might actually be like a strength?
That's such a great question. Um, being spontaneous. I think I try to work efficiently. So I think I always value efficiency. So I don't like wasting time. And I don't like waiting. Like, so I think that could also be it could be a strength like that, because spontaneous people, they have very short temper, I think. So they always have to get things finished really quickly. So maybe that could be my strength in a flip side.
It's like productivity.
Yeah, productivity. Yeah, that word would be perfect.
More efficient, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the second question. I would read the second question.
Or
how would your acquaintances, including friends, describe you? Yeah.
I
What
asked
about
my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't ask acquaintances because it seems too random.
Yeah.
But I asked some of my friends what they thought of me, and I wrote down their answers.
Oh.
So my best friend, she said the first thing that comes to her mind was that I am functional.
Oh.
Which sounds weird, but she said I'm just a very functional person, as in like I can do all the things that I want to do or need to do. So that like I'm very like healthy and like efficient, and that I like manage my life. And she also said that I have foresight.
Oh.
Yeah. So
like seeing the future?
Yeah, like predicting things well before they happen, which is also a weakness, she said, for me. Because sometimes I'll see problems before they happen, and then I'll be like reacting to the problem and getting anxious about it, or trying to like, trying to fix things before they even like have happened, which is, it has been a bad thing, especially socially.
Why? Like why is that a bad thing?
I guess like I found myself predicting like breakdowns in friendships or relationships before there was a breakdown. And then like if you do that, you can actually like kind of cause a breakdown, right? It's called this self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're trying to like react to this thing that you're seeing could possibly happen, you might just make it happen. Which is very unfortunate. So
like unintentionally you might have triggered the
like you see something as possible, like it might happen, and then you start to think like, how can I like make this not happen, or how can I control and manipulate the current moment to make the results that I want? But it doesn't always work out well. Sometimes you make problems that don't exist, that didn't exist. Yeah.
Listening to your answer, like it hit me like, do you usually don't like to take risks?
Maybe I tend to avoid situations that are really scary or risky. I'm a no person. You know how there's like people who love to say yes and people who love to say no? I love to say no.
Oh, really?
I have to push myself to say yes.
Thank you for saying yes to this.
My pleasure.
This Zoom session with me. Yeah. Yeah, because I think people who don't like to take risks tend to think about the future and what might happen, and feel anxious about that.
It's an anxiety thing, 100%.
But I think the good part of being kind of having foresight is that you don't fail like tremendously because you always anticipated. So people who don't really think about the future, they might succeed really big, but like they also fail really disastrously. So
Yeah, I think it serves me in every aspect of my life except socially or like romantically. I think that's the place where like you just can't predict people like that, and people react to your predictions in unpredictable ways.
I see. Functional and having foresight.
Yes, and also prioritizing self-care.
Oh, could you explain that a little bit?
I guess I'm really good at self-care. A
Oh,
lot of people in my life notice it and like bring it up, but like I guess I put a lot of focus on like trying to like meet my needs. So like my health needs, trying to like maximize like my health, and like making sure that I have enough time alone, that I get a full 8 hours sleep, and like always trying to like tinker and optimize like my home life so that like it like allows me to feel like, you know, like I'm thriving and flourishing. Even like my skincare and like makeup routines, like everything is just like exactly like placed to like suit my needs. And I really enjoy like spending time taking care of myself. Yeah.
It's both physical and mental.
Yeah. It's everything.
And by the way, your skin is flawless.
Thank you.
Because the moment I saw you, I was so shocked by your skin, like it was like
Really?
baby skin. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not like compliment, like flatter you or anything. It's just that you talked
Coming
about
from
skin.
Korean people, it's a huge compliment.
Yeah. Oh, a self-care. Oh, so you always have to have this me time.
I have lots of me time. I have lots of like routines. And I've played with many, like adding things to my routine, subtracting things, like just always trying to like find what works best and what makes me happiest.
Could you tell us like one routine that you're like recently into? Any like self-care routine?
Yeah, one that I've been loving is myofascial release.
Oh, what is that?
So like I basically use like foam rollers and stuff, and I like look for like tension in my body. And they have many different types of rollers, and like even like next to me I have like all kinds of like muscle release tools, and I basically like find these like hard knots in your muscles.
Oh, wow.
And you like find some way to apply pressure, and you slowly like move your body, so you don't like rub, but you locate the knot and you slowly rub back and forth. It's very painful. But it changes your body, like it's crazy. Like all of a sudden I felt like my chest could open, and like the tension was going away, and I was like, that it was really instant results, and it was a really interesting way to get to know your body and to feel the pain and tension in your body and to like learn about it. Very interesting process.
Have you like learned from a masseuse or like from YouTube videos?
From a YouTube video, yep.
I see.
Found a YouTube account.
Like next time, could you like recommend me like one any foam like roller, because recently I wore this crossback for like months, and suddenly when I tried to sleep at night, my backbone and this neck area started to like hurt so much. Yes, it's getting better now, but like I instantly switched to backpack. It's ugly, but it's way
better. I know. Yeah, I would love to talk to you about it. I have a lot of suggestions and ideas of what could help.
So is there anything else that your friends talk to you about?
One of my coworkers said that I was fashion forward, and she also said that I am philosophical, which kind of giveaway.
Philosophy is your major, so it's quite self-explanatory.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
Fashion forward means like kind of really stylish, right?
Yeah. So like you're trying to always push your fashion forward. Like you're trying to like do new things more.
Yeah. The first time when I saw you, I think your glasses were kind of really uniquely shaped.
Ah, these ones?
Yeah, because in Korea, most of the people who wear glasses are either round or like square.
Really plain.
Yeah, so I like the frame and the color, and it kind of really suits your face. So
thank you.
That's also like a type of accessory that you have. So I could
it's an important one. It frames your face. I thought of it as always like glasses are artwork for your face. So you have to pick very wisely.
And I know that you always wear these kitschy, like kitsch.
Kitschy, yeah, kitschy.
Yeah. Do we say kitschy in English?
Yep, we do.
Oh, yeah.
It means kind of like maybe like cute or in kooky a little bit. Yeah, sometimes. Today they're just simple.
Oh yeah, me too. Drop ears.
Yeah, I love the drop on you.
Yeah, great.
Okay, your turn.
My turn.
Friends? Yeah.
I asked like a few friends that I'm close to, and I think it would be kind of difficult for them to come up with a sentence or a word. So I asked them, which color do you think do you like come up with when you think about me? And most like everybody's said the different color, but like every one of them said your color is kind of white that kind of turns into a more warm color.
Oh,
that means that first you really look kind of cold and quiet, but as they become to know me, they think I'm really warm and funny. So that was the common thing that people told me. So I was wondering, why do I look so cold to people? Yeah. And I don't know, like I think,
did multiple people say that? The white becoming warm?
Yeah, one person said that, but everyone said the different color. But like the main point was that my first impression and the right now is kind of different. And first I look really cold, but if they get to know me, they think I'm warm. Yeah, and just try I thought that I was not cold, and I tried to reject that and refuse that kind of notion people trying to put towards on me. But I realized that I think I have that cold side when I don't like a certain person. It means that like if I don't like a person, like I just like cut that relationship like with a knife, like really sharp. So I think that kind of attitude shows like in my kind of eyes and my kind of attitude. And that might look kind of cold to other people. And the warm part is when I feel that person is my friend or my family or my like anyone that I'm close to, I think I open up myself and try just be goofy and like just be normal, friendly person. Yeah. And another word or thing that friends told to me was that they said that I'm kind of, I don't know how to put this in English. Please help me. This word is called 해맑다. 해맑다 I think the best word to describe it is like pure, innocent. But 맑다 is already innocent and pure. But if you put 해 in front of 맑다,
like sun?
It is not sun, but it's like super, super innocent and pure.
Oh.
And I don't know why, but I have heard that word a lot from a lot of people. Yeah, so it could be a good thing because they're kind of telling, oh, you're not that kind of adult who is like always stressed with work and kind of like this gray monotonous person, but like you are kind of like a child, like bubbly, pure, innocent. But at the same time, I think it means you don't really know about the world. You need to grow up, girl. Like I think they're like that.
See, in English, we have this distinction between like being childlike and being childish.
Oh, right.
The childlike is a positive thing. It means you've like kind of retained this like youthful innocence or purity, or just like it's not necessarily a naivete, like but it's kind of like you're taking things as they come. You're open to new experiences. You don't have any of that baggage. You know, you're in that as you've grown up, you've kind of like protected and cultivated your inner child in like a really positive way, whereas childish is just immaturity.
Right.
Yeah, like you have not developed, and you like have like maintained like the negative aspects of youth.
Yeah.
So I think they mean it in the positive way. It sounds like that word is very positive.
You phrased it so perfectly, childlike and childish. And I think I'm in between that. And sometimes I could be childish and sometimes I could be childlike, because it's really kind of, it's like a line. And I think I'm in between childish and childlike.
Really?
So like I sometimes childlike and childish.
I can't imagine you being very childish, honestly, but I've only seen you in like professional settings, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But how can you think of a situation where you're being childish?
Childish. I think when I try to depend on my parents. Not like, I'm 31 years old now, and I have my own job, but I'm not like perfectly financially independent, because I live in an apartment near my workplace, and it's my dad's apartment, and I didn't buy the house, and there are a lot of things that I'm not capable of doing. Like I can't cook, I don't drive, and I don't know, like just because you cook and just because you drive doesn't mean that you're an adult. But like I think I lack this kind of survival, how can I say, like survival technique. Like I just always try to depend on like my parents sometimes. So that's when I feel that, oh, like these kind of things, my friends already graduated like when they were like in their teens, they in their 20s, but like when I lack those kind of abilities, I feel really childish.
I mean, I think that those abilities are kind of just like what people say like is expected of adults, but like when we look at the world that we live in now, like it's really impossible for young people like to buy apartments on their own. It's like nearly impossible. It's not the way it was when our parents were our age.
Yeah.
Like, especially like in Seoul too, like is it the jeonse, like the money, the key money?
Oh, right.
It's absolutely impossible. I can't believe it. So like that combined with like buying groceries is maybe like even more expensive than ordering food.
Oh, right.
Like, all of these factors, and like combined with like the public transport too, area is really good. Like I think that it's nothing to be ashamed of. I think that maybe society is just unfair sometimes, and like those like what they would call childish.
Yeah, thank you for defending me.
Yes.
Okay, so your friends called you functional, and what was the second one?
Having foresight
And philosophical and fashion forward, right?
Yeah, and the self-care.
Yeah, self-care, right? And mine was kind of looking cold but warm inside. and
the childlike quality.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the third question. Payan, could you read it?
Yes, just a second.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt your personality has been concretely changed over the year as you get older? How?
Yeah, I want to hear your story first. Yeah,
this is an interesting one. Just the way it's phrased, I guess. Like, do you mean have their personality has suddenly changed?
It doesn't matter if it's gradual or sudden. Someone could have like a specific like kind of incident, or someone could like didn't notice that they have changed, but like when they look back, they might have changed a lot. So either way.
I see. Oh, should I go first?
Yeah, sure. I want to hear your story first.
To be honest, like I didn't think about or prepare for this question very much.
Yeah.
I think that my personality has been very stable for most of my life, in that like I guess I've slowly like cultivated, been working on like my habits for my entire life. So like I would say that who I am now is really like the culmination of all my 28 years of like, but I would say that when I was a teenager, I was quite cold. So I found out I was INTJ for the first time. And I kind of liked that, this like the coldness of it. And I thought that it was a cool thing because women are typically associated with being more like warm and like, you know, sensitive. And I kind of liked that I was like cold and rational. So I kind of like leaned into it a bit. And I think I was even like kind of like rude sometimes to people. Like my mom at one point too, she like said that I was cold-hearted. My sister was warm-hearted. And after a while, especially once I like went into university and started studying philosophy, I like suddenly was like, oh, I don't like that about myself anymore. And I was like, I was wrong to like lean into that quality. Like I need to become more like pro-social. So I have swung in the other direction a little bit. And I'm glad I did. It's kind of like a pendulum. So like first I kind of like leaned towards the cold side, but now I'm like a little bit too much on the other side, like a bit more like people pleasing, I would say. Or like silencing myself because I'm scared of saying something that might be offensive. And then I'm just quiet, which isn't good either. Like I should express myself. So I think that was transformative. Philosophy helped me like look at myself a little bit more and like think about what qualities I want to like work on.
So like philosophical books helped you to kind of decide, like helped you to kind of look back at yourself. And
yeah, combined with like a boyfriend I had and like just talking with him because he was a philosophy student at the time. Just like our conversations, I guess. Him and with my sister and my best friend. Yeah, I would say like all that together really helped me.
Yeah. I think that we can call it like I don't know if this is the right word, socialization, like becoming an adult, because as we become an adult, like we have to think of others and how people feel when we say certain things.
Yes.
Yeah. And in my case, it's kind of similar to your story. I used to be really brutally honest.
Yeah.
On everything. Like people ask certain things not to really listen to the real like kind of answer, but to get like consolation or like things like that. But even though I knew that, like I just said what I wanted to say. I had no filter.
Yep.
And when I was young, I thought that was really cool.
Is that like teenage years too?
Yeah.
It's
that was
thing. Yeah.
Middle and high school. And I thought that was really cool. And I think I also had this fear that I don't want to appear timid and shy to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I acted like that. But when I entered like in my 20s, I realized that it is really hurting people and it's really rude. And there was not a specific moment, but I think I started to not really be like super honest. But I think it was good for me because I learned how to wisely tell people like what I think rather than just like telling like straightforwardly. And I think my friend, one of my best friends, she is a very wise person. She knows how to collect the words, the most appropriate words when she says something. And she always says in an indirect way when she gives me advice. Yeah. It's really beautiful. And like
great talent.
Yeah. And I really respect her for that. And I think I realized, oh, I think I should learn that from her. So I think since then I tend to not really talk what's in my head right away, but I try to find the right words and right expressions.
And that's why you're better at listening too.
Yeah, I think kind a little connected.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I recently saw a quote that was like, maturity is like learning that you shouldn't say everything that's on your mind, and that like it's like maturity is learning what to say and what to not say. And I was like, that is so true. And it's also like, it's an art, and it's a very difficult thing to like perfect, it's something that I'm working on. And sometimes I notice it in other people too, like when they're just like blabbing like everything that comes to mind. I'm like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Right. I think what you said is really, really like valuable. We tend to be like too honest or too just like say nothing, but finding the right balance, and
It's difficult.
it's difficult, but it's really art, and it's like a process of perfecting it. Like it's our life.
It is, yeah. I think that when people talk to us, we also have a conversation with ourselves in our mind. And you have to be doing both conversations at once. Like you have to be listening to them and also processing your thoughts in reaction to them, and knowing like what you actually want to say to them, and knowing what is actually just for you to work on or think about.
Oh, I like that you phrase it as a conversation with yourself. I never thought like that.
Yeah. It's actually from like psychoanalysis, one of my favorite philosophers. She has this concept of what she calls like it's some type of maternal like listening. And she thinks that like caregivers are people who are like maybe like in therapy or are like in a position where they're trying to care for someone. They should listen, and like listen to the other person in a way where they're kind of like enjoying or really engaged and involved with the other person. And to do that properly, they have to like be processing themselves and their reactions, because you might feel things like guilt or anger or like disgust at what the person is saying, but you have to be able to like work through that on your own, so that you are not like then like transferring or projecting like your own mess and your own problems onto that person, so that you can let them be who they are and express their truth without your like baggage. So you're actually like, you're kind of just like witnessing them. That's the purpose, is like just like witness them and not to see them for who they are, and then they can flourish once they feel like someone is properly like attentive to them.
I think that's a very mature way of just having a conversation.
Yeah, it's different. It's very selfless too. I'm not even sure if it's a conversation, but sometimes when people need care, like if someone's has depression or they're grieving or they're like really going through something, like they need that pure listening that's just like curious and open and non-judgmental, and just lets them say whatever they need to say.
Yeah.
I got off track. Sorry.
No, I remember you talking about counseling last time when we met. I think we need to have like a separate topic about that.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, let's go to the fourth question. I will read it. No, it's your turn, right?
I think it's your turn.
Okay, my turn. Okay. Have you ever done something you are proud of yourself thanks to your strength or personality, or any uniqueness differentiated with others? From others, yeah.
Have I ever done something that I am proud of thanks to my own strength or personality, or my like unique qualities?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the obvious answer would be moving to Korea, but I don't know if I actually consider that to be like thanks to my strength or personality. Many people have moved here in all different types of conditions, you know. I think the fact that I like came here and like managed to stay like pretty stable and like healthy and like make friends and like practice the language and find a groove and a rhythm. Like a lot of people have like a crisis when they move to Korea. But I think so far, like, you know, knock on wood, I haven't had a crisis yet. And like things were exactly how I expected it to be, because I did a lot of research and preparation before I came here. So I guess that would be my answer.
Because you have foresight.
Yeah. And also like I'm just not bothered by like the cultural shocks very much. I traveled a bit when I was young too, and like at some point you just learn that like if someone's saying something and they want you to feel good, it doesn't really matter what they say. Like I just feel good because they want me to feel good. They could be complimenting me and being like, oh wow, like, oh you look, oh like you're fit, you're like working out, and I'm just like, oh yes. Like and the fact that they're just happy for me, I'm like, yes, thank you. Even though like part of me might be like insecure about it, or like feeling nervous that people are like looking at my body or like evaluating me, but like nah. I've come to just kind of like let up and be like, you know, if someone wants me to feel happy, like doesn't matter what they say, like I'm just glad that they're trying to pass it on.
Yep. But like many people move to like Korea and other foreign countries, but that is just statistics. But like look, like you're just like one individual, and in your lifetime moving to another country is a very big decision. And so it like a lot of people have made that decision, but I think still you making a decision to move to another country and doing a lot of research so you don't face those kind of crises. And I think it's like a very it kind of stemmed from your the ability having having foresight and always preparing and researching. So yeah, I think that could be something you could feel proud of yourself.
Yeah, I guess I should. Maybe I don't give myself enough credit. Yeah, that would be my answer. But how about you?
I think the thing that instantly comes up in my mind is opening up this discussion club.
Yeah.
I'm also an introvert, and I have never been a leader in my whole life. Throughout elementary, middle, and high school. And I was always a follower who was just quietly following the rules and the leaders. And I didn't really start this discussion club with a lot of ambition. I was just like having a lot of time doing nothing, and like, why don't I open a discussion club in Songdo and to meet friends in Songdo? And luckily everything turned out so well, and people like my discussion club, and they always I could see a lot of people come again and again, and it shows that they like this discussion club. So I think the reason the reason why I said that it comes from my strength is that I'm kind of spontaneous. So I didn't really think about a lot, but I just did it really quick. So I think that's why it that was how I started this discussion club. And yeah, and well, many people like tell me, oh, you must be really exhausted running this club, but I just think this as a hobby, and it's so just fun. So that's why I think I was able to do it for 2 years. Yeah. So
and you've grown so much too. Like the club too has gotten so big. I think it's the biggest like somoim in Songdo.
I think but like
the most
there are 2 to 3 clubs, so
not many. True, but still like it's a huge success. And we have people like when you put up the topics, the seats are gone within minutes. Like if anyone wants to come to the meeting, like they have to be ready on Fridays.
Yeah.
It's a
And
big success. And you've got lots of team leaders now too.
yeah, and the best part is that I could meet like you and other people who have so many, like who comes from so many diverse backgrounds. So I think I could like be a more kind of fun person. If I just meet people who are similar to me, I think I will be stuck in this area, only having the same thought with other people. But I have to always like encounter new people every week. So it is a challenge, but it's also so fun and dynamic. I learn a lot.
That's the kind of the beauty of like language learning groups too, is that like you don't really have just one kind of person there. Like you really are meeting like tons of people with different personalities and different backgrounds. Like there's not usually much tying together people studying English, other than just maybe an openness to like different cultures, I guess. But
yeah, right. I think diversity is something that is something I think people don't like to change, but at the same time, it's just fun listening to other people's stories, and like we have different opinions on the same topic. So I think it's so like kind of, that's the beauty of just people and life and the world.
Yeah, I think that appreciating diversity is like the task of people living on Earth. I think the diversity here is the greatest part about Earth, not just in terms of like different humans, but also like animals and like organisms. Like, diversity here is really amazing.
Right.
Appreciating that is really important.
That's so true. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the last question.
How does language affect your identity when it comes to speaking different languages? Do you believe the language we speak shapes our identity as well as the way we think?
Yeah. So the effect of language.
Yeah, this is a really important question. You could do a whole episode on this, honestly. And this also feeds into what I researched. So I have too much to say.
You could tell something that you feel like most.
I think that humans, I think our identity is built through language. So I think the language that we learn has a huge like influence on our identity and our behavior and how we think of ourselves and how we think of others. Like it's really, people don't realize how much their language and like culture, because language and culture are really, one is so tied up, right? People don't realize how much that influences their identity until they learn a different language, which is why it's really important, I think, for people to learn different languages. I'm still early in my Korean language learning. Like I've studied for 1 year now, and I can have small talk with like my manicure lady, like I still like most sentences I don't catch a word and I have to like sit there and think. But I think, it does affect my identity a little bit, for sure. I think that I have not appreciated that enough yet because I'm still too early to say, but I'm more interested in what you would have to say because you can speak both languages with like a high level of fluency. So, and you're learning other languages too, right? Or you want to?
Yeah, I'm actually learning Japanese these days.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, right, when do you feel that the kind of core kind of mindset of Western people and Korean people are like, is different? Like, I think you learn both languages right now. So, I mean, you learn Korean right now. So when you like encounter certain words or expressions, when do you feel that, wow, like it's so different from your own culture?
I think in terms of like insa,
Oh, greeting.
Like you can tell here that like if you see someone that you know, you have to acknowledge them. You have to greet them and you have to like, whereas in Canada, it's a choice. It's a choice. And there's a lot of different degrees of like, there's not much expectations of like what the introduction is like, it's very loose. And I think too with like for example, going to parties in Canada, like it's each for their own. Like you have to, no one is responsible for your enjoyment of the party. You have to either enjoy the party, and if you're not, and you're a buzzkill, it's very stressful. Whereas here, I think people are more conscious of like checking in on each other in social situations, or like there's more structure that's kind of meant to like support all of the members. And there's more of like attention to the members of the group. So like nunchi is an interesting concept.
Oh yeah.
When comparing the East and West. It's also interesting because a lot of Korean people don't have nunchi. but they also do in different ways. Like there's different kinds of nunchi, but that's an interesting one, I think, for comparing the East and West. And also I think it might also relate to like the collectivism versus individualism. It's a good comparison point as well.
Yeah, so could we translate nunchi into English? Is there a word?
Well, no, we usually say social awareness or like reading the room.
Reading the
room.
Reading the room. Wow.
Yeah. So like it's kind of like reading the room is like when you can just like look and notice how people are feeling or what the vibe is without like having to like verbally like ask or explain. So yeah, it's just, can you like, sometimes we'll say it as a joke, like if someone's like talking too much or talking about a subject that makes everyone uncomfortable and they keep doing it and everyone's just sitting there, like someone might say like, read the room. Take a look around, like you're
wow, read the room.
Read the room.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh.
But there's different kinds of nunchi, right? Can you help me with that?
Well, I think social, like always being conscious of what other people feel is like universal in all cultures. But like, I think what is different from like Koreans and like other Western people, I think Koreans, we tend to really kind of think it's really important, like really, really important. But as you mentioned, it's kind of optional. Not like very, like it's also important, but like in Korea, there's like a hierarchy in companies when you have to say the right word to your boss. Like there is like a 존댓말 in Korean. Yeah, you have to like, and there's 반존대. So I don't know how to explain this in English, but it's like, so you have two bosses, and one is like number one boss, and the second one is number two boss. But when you talk about the number one boss to the number two boss, you have to kind of always be conscious of the hierarchy. Yeah, it's really hard to explain in English. Anyways, there's so many kind of rules, and I just feel that sometimes it would be kind of suffocating to people who are new to this culture, but it's really natural in Korea. I think that is the difference. In the Western world, there's no 존댓말. We just call their name, right?
Yeah, you can just say you. And yeah, it's also, we don't have the hierarchy, and you can like talk back to elderly people or anyone above you, like in the hierarchy, if you think that what they're doing is unjust or unethical or wrong. Like there's no qualm, like no one has any qualms about like thinks about their social position.
Right. I think that's like a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. I agree.
Yeah, and the point that you said that learning a new language, it really changes our like our mind and our perspective.
Mhm.
So the reason why I'm learning Japanese is that I try to read a lot of books, like about like politics or economy, but it's all in Korean and it's not that new. But learning a new language is a totally new kind of area. So it really opens up my mind and like shows me like a new world. So I think learning a new language is like a different kind of, how can I say, different category.
Of learning.
Yeah, it's
I think so too. I think you're also making, like when you learn a new language, you're
mm,
making a new identity for yourself
mm,
in that
mm,
language. You literally become a different person.
right.
And it's funny because it also affects your native identity too.
Mm, yeah, and like I always wondered like, can you differentiate Koreans and Korean American?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so. Not as well as Koreans can, though.
yeah, yeah,
You can kind of tell by their fashion
yeah.
and by how they walk and how they move, like body
Oh, really?
language.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's about it, though, for me.
oh. Because like when I see like my friends or my cousins go to a foreign country and live there for a long time,
Mhm.
not only their language changes, but their fashion style and like their attitude all changes. So I think language really affects everything. The
Yeah,
way we
even like if
talk.
I'm walking in the street,
Yeah.
I can turn the corner, and it's funny, I know they're a foreigner just
Oh,
by like the way they move their body. Like I don't even have
oh,
to like look
really?
at their face or anything. I just immediately can see like that their body moves like a foreigner. And
Mm,
I'm surprised by that too.
mm,
And I'm like wondering, like, do I have that too? Like,
mm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So sometimes like I lived in England when I was like 5 years old for 3 years, and I've lived in Korea since then. And
Mhm.
sometimes I imagine if I were raised in like a foreign, like Western country, um, would my personality would not be like right now? Would it be different? And
Yeah.
I always imagine that because um I think growing up in Korea, it gave me a lot of benefits and good things, but I sometimes feel that I always have to see this nunchi, and like I just want to be myself, not having no fear that people might be judgmental, but I think I have that fear inside, and I think partly the Korean society kind of made me like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very self-conscious society. I'm personally
Mm,
very self-conscious, so like I
mm,
kind of feel comfortable here with that level of self-consciousness and knowing
mhm,
that other people are also like it kind of felt good almost.
mhm, mhm,
But I hear many Korean people um talking about how they also kind of feel suffocated by
mm,
the structures and that's
mm,
kind of why they like foreigners and like even like kind of like fantasize about foreigners and their easygoingness, so
mm,
relaxed and go with the flow and open-minded and
mm, right.
kind of yeah, like there's something about that kind of like foreigner attitude, I guess, that is appealing just because yeah, you can kind of drop the judgmentalness or feeling
Mm,
so self-conscious or concerned about how you might be perceived.
right.
I guess per the perception is a very perception based
Mm,
society, whereas
right.
West is people are more concerned about themselves in the
Right.
It's like no one's really paying attention to each other. Like everyone's just so
Right.
focused on their own getting what they need to get and like saying what they want to say and expressing what they want to express. And everyone's so focused on their own like how they think they're like
Mm,
expressing themselves. Whereas
mm,
I feel like Korean people tend to kind of have those eyes behind them, like they're
mm,
watching themselves more.
mhm,
And like with that, like society's eyes, like they're seeing how Korean society like perceives them in a way
mm,
that's very different.
mm,
And I think
right. Eyes behind our back. Eyes
yeah,
everywhere.
CCTVs everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so fun talking to you about like personality and also about like the impact of language.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we end this Zoom session by talking about one personality trait that we want to kind of fix or develop next
Good
year?
one.
Because
Yeah.
we are like after 1 month, it's going to be 2023. So just one personality trait that you want to fix or kind of develop more.
Right.
Do you have one?
Mine is actually just what I was just talking about, basically. I'm too overly focused on how I come off to others and like expressing myself the way I want to express myself that I sometimes forget to like validate the other person, you know? Like I'm scared that maybe I'm talking too much. Or like, because you say all these nice things back to me, I'm like, oh, did I say enough nice things back to her? And I'm just like trying to like, because Korean society is more like that. And I'm like, I like that I'm here because that's something I want to fix about myself, is to like be more attentive to the other person and to, because I listen well, but I don't always like say words of validation. I want to be more validating, I think.
Validating. Could you paraphrase that word a little bit? It's like a little difficult word.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult. It's kind of like affirming, yeah.
Affirming.
Making people feel like that I like hear their experience and like giving them like support and like showing that I'm like listening to them and like being like, oh, you felt like this, you must have felt like that, or that must have connected to this, and trying to like make them feel seen and heard, versus like me trying to like control how I'm being perceived. Yeah.
So sometimes when you feel that you have this like words inside your head or inside your heart, do you like write like keep a journal or try to like write down stuff?
I don't write very much. I think a lot, and I have a good memory. Sometimes I do video, like vlogging. It's just like a personal vlog. Like it's only for me to look at, where I just talk about what's happening. But yeah, I hate typing. It just gives me like physical tension in my chest. So I try to
the foam roller.
Yeah, exactly. I hate it.
I see.
Yeah, how about you?
If I say this, people might not believe it, but I want to be less lazy. And because people like perceive me as this diligent person because I upload these questions on time every week, and like I do like 2 discussion clubs. But the reason why I'm able to do this because I get this help from others. I mean, I try to put myself into the system that I don't get lazy. So the reason why I started the morning Zoom session is to wake up early, but I know that I can't do it alone. So I use other people to do it. So next year, I have a lot of goals. I want to lose more weight and read more books, learn a new language, but I think I cannot do it by myself, do it alone. So I just want to like kind of use, not use, but like do it with other people so I could stay motivated. Yeah, I think so. I know myself that I can't do it. So I always try to use the system and put myself in it. Yeah.
It's a smart idea. I think people underestimate how much they need communities.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we want to work on those together. I would love to.
Yeah, of course. And I'm so excited and so looking forward to talking to you later, like about other topics. Like, I think we have a lot of things in common: K-pop, like philosophy, psychology, and stuff. So next time, let's come
scratch the surface.
Yeah. So thank you, Paeon, for coming, and I loved listening to your story.
Thank you. Hey, yeah, I loved it too. We had some good conversations. There's so much more to be said.
Yeah, me too, but let's save it for the next time.
Okay, yeah, it's been nice talking.
Yeah, thank you, Paeon. Let's say bye to the screen.
Okay, goodbye.